Years ago, the people of this country made a choice that has left us isolated, diminished, and weaker than before. To those who voted leave, I say this: you were lied to. Not just misled, not just misinformed, lied to. Do not forget the promises emblazoned on buses and broadcast in campaign ads. Promises of £350 million a week for the NHS. Promises of trade deals so plentiful they'd fall in our laps. Promises of an economy unshackled from EU bureaucracy. Promises of falling migration. Promises of sovereignty restored, and promises that Britain would reclaim its place as a leader on the world stage. Every single one of those promises was broken, and today we bear that cost. They will tell you that this country was broken and they fought to fix it. The reality is they broke it, and now we have to fix it. If you voted to regain sovereignty, instead, you got borders that have never been more porous. If you voted to cut migration, instead, you have a doubling of net migration since 2016. If you voted for £350 million a week for the NHS, instead, you have an NHS in crisis, understaffed, underfunded, and overwhelmed. Ambulance wait times, the longest on record. Cancer care, the longest on record. If you voted for bold new trade deals, instead, you got 5 new trade deals, dwarfed in scale by the unparalleled access we once enjoyed with the European single market. If you voted for a trade revolution, instead, you got a trade collapse. If you voted for a booming economy, instead, exports have plummeted. Small businesses are suffocating in paperwork, and industries like fishing, once the poster child of Brexit, are being decimated by domestic tariffs and quotas. If you voted for a Great Britain, you were left with a Little Britain. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not sovereignty. This is not control. This is not opportunity. Let's call it what it is: a total national tragedy. By 2035, Brexit is predicted to have cost the UK £300 billion. That is not a distant abstraction. It is a fiscal black hole that will impact every community, every classroom, every hospital bed in this country. The pound has plummeted. Our exports have fallen by 15%, and foreign investment is slipping through our fingers. 40,000 jobs in London, lost. 2 million jobs nationwide, lost. These are mere statistics until it's you. They say that Brexit hasn't changed much, but tell that to the single mother in Manchester, skipping meals to feed her children, as the average person is £2,000 worse off each year. Tell that to the small business owner in Birmingham, a steel parts manufacturer, struggling to survive after losing European clients and facing regulatory chaos that has crushed his trade. Tell that to the cancer patient in Bristol, whose life-saving treatment has been delayed because the NHS is short of 4,000 European doctors. And tell that to the young graduate in Liverpool, stuck in a dead-end job because opportunities to work, study, and live abroad evaporated. These aren't just numbers. They are lives disrupted, dreams deferred, and futures stolen. Brexit has robbed a generation of its future. My generation, your generation, our generation. The Erasmus scheme, scrapped. Horizon Europe funding, scrapped. And let us not forget the most personal loss of all, our rights as EU citizens. The fettering of our freedom to live, work, and thrive across 27 countries, gone. Now we have less rights than our parents enjoyed. And that is atrocious. Because this isn't just about economics. It is about identity. It is a debate of hearts and a debate of minds. Brexit has not only shrunk our wallets, it has shrunk our role in the world, and we have lost a seat at the table. Instead of leading, we are following. Instead of shaping the global agenda, we are reacting to it. Instead of being a voice of authority, we are a nation on mute. Nobody mentions the UK anymore. We have made ourselves irrelevant. Members, These are not my words. They're Sir Richard Dearlove's, the former head of MI6. And he could not have put it clearer. Irrelevant. He could not have put it more alarmingly. Irrelevant. And now, Brexit has not just failed, it has been rejected. Rejected by Brexiteers and rejected by Remainers. Even Marine Le Pen, the firebrand of French Euroscepticism, has given up on Frexit, admitting that leaving the EU is a surefire path to disaster. And the British people know it too. Polls after poll tell the same story. Out of 233 polls conducted in the last 3 years, 230 show majority support for rejoining. And here's the most damning fact of all. Just one constituency out of 632 thinks Brexit was the right choice. I will concede, however, that the EU is no silver bullet that will terminate all our sorrows or a shining beacon that will fix every mess. No, members, the EU is not perfect, and it never was. But it is better together in trade as part of the largest economic bloc in the world, better together in science, where collaboration knows no borders, better together in security, where unity strengthens our defences against petty tyrants and expansionist dictators, and better together in spirit, where shared challenges are met with shared solutions. This is not the time to cling to the isolationist fantasies of a little Britain. It is time to live up to the true meaning of our name. Where in a bold Britain, we embrace our fellow Europeans, rejecting the suffocating confines of xenophobic rhetoric. Where in a brave Britain, we embrace our global responsibilities and forge alliances that champion unity. Where in a great Britain, we are not shackled by the weight of our past, but are propelled by the promise of an open, outward-looking future. So what would this look like? Simple. There would be another referendum, not necessarily this year, not necessarily in 2 years, but at some point in our future. Voters would receive a fact-checked information booklet with details about the vote, what it would mean, and accompanied by party positions. No, thank you. And those who are sceptical, let me say this. A strong Britain needs a strong Europe, and a strong Europe wants a strong Britain. So members, if you seek a more prosperous economy, if you seek a more welcoming country, if you seek more personal freedom, reopen your hearts to Europe, members, reach out your arms to Europe, members, unclench your fists to Europe, because before long, and no doubt within our lifetimes, the arguments which are being traded tonight will be played out before the country as a whole. So if there is anyone who doubts Britain's desire to re-enter the EU, who still wonders if the dreams of unity are alive in our time, and who questions whether hope can triumph over the bitterness of our past, let tonight be that answer. I beg you, members, vote to rejoin the European Union. Thank you.